That you have a new girlfriend, right?
Yes.
Has she seen your old set where you talk about your old girlfriend?
I can't wait for this breakup.
All my cards are with me.
Like, speaking of understanding
Apple
comedy,
Pay's just on my phone.
like, I wonder if she's seen the old set and is like, oh, I better act right, bro. Like, if she gets out of line.
If she wants to be famous, act very wrong. Yeah, you got to be careful for the toxics.
The girl I'm with now is we've been friends for a few years. So we were friends actually when I was working that stuff out. So she's seen like an early warm up of that show. We've been together since July, and yeah, she's great.
Asian?
Yeah. No. Is that an eye joke? Going back to your roots.
Oh, that's hilarious. Asian girls love you. They're just like, how does he open it so much?
They just have to sleep on this side of the bed.
Oh, bro.
Nah, you're like the Taylor Swift of comics, man. You get in a relationship, break up. Oh, I got a new special, man.
You do 1 hour. And that sticks forever.
Bro, that's funny, though. I mean, you got to talk about your shit. It was a crazy story, though.
And genuinely, like, for legal reasons, I have to stress it was fictional.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
Yes.
it's a totally fictional hour.
Completely.
Completely fictional.
Fiction.
Yeah.
There's no truth in it at all.
No.
And that's what I like
And
about
any
you.
resemblance to real life is purely coincidental.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you hate those coincidences?
Yeah.
You have an hour of coincidences. You're
It's
like, oh,
fucking
great.
wild.
dumb.
Like my mum's an alcoholic in real life and in the show. Like, what the shit?
What are the odds?
What are the fucking chances?
I could have written anything, but it was just, it came out. You know?
That's a funny thing to put in the beginning of a special. Yeah. For legal reasons, all of this is fiction. Yeah. Oh, that's even more enticing.
Yeah, right?
It's, it was interesting putting a special like that out because, you know, that for me, that hour, so the hour you're talking about there is called Juicy. And that is more of like an Edinburgh Festival type hour of stand-up where it's, you know, it's one long story. I'm sat down for a lot of it. Like, we shot it in a small room very deliberately. And that is not the way I've came up. Although I've gone to the Edinburgh Festival and done hours and stuff, I've never really, before that show, done like a long narrative hour and like figured out the reaction from like people who followed me for years and like fans of like our podcast and stuff was like, this, like, I love all your stand-up, I love all your jokes, I love all the routines. This is just different. Yeah. And the fact that there's genuine like pieces of you and there's moments where you're not even trying to be funny and you're just talking to us, it's a totally different thing and we want more of that. And then so I put a special out in November, the most recent one, and that's a lot more clubby again because I wanted to just go back out and do what I've done for years. I do think the next show I do will probably be another like narrative one. I want to like try another story and try and do another thing. It's the way it was received, like when you can really sort of put a piece of you like and be, you know, talking about your actual life and what you actually felt at moments and proper give people a real story. The reaction to it, like if like the special I've just put out, I'm really proud of it. I think it's fucking great. A lot of people have messaged me and being like, this is so funny, fucking love it. They're sharing it. This is the best, like the funniest hour of stand-up I've seen. When I was getting messages about Juicy, they were like paragraphs in the DMs, like this, it made me remember
Stories
this.
affect people differently in general. Like if somebody walks in the room right now and goes, guys, I got a crazy story, we're going to give them about like 2 minutes of our attention no matter what. Yeah, it's like our earliest form of digesting information. Before we could like write shit down, it was just people saying, yo, this is kind of wild. Yeah. I mean, the Odyssey, who the fuck remembered that entire story? But we're hardwired to remember these things, that have this long form narrative. You know, it's like if we wanted little chunks of things, movies wouldn't exist.
No.
But when you sit down for 2 hours, it's this one beautiful long story that kind of reflects, you know, the way that our lives are led, you know. So but mixing things up I think is important too. You got to always keep your fans on their toes. I think like once they start expecting something, there can be a little boredom that comes with it. But if they show up and they see this hour and it's all these punchy jokes and they're like, oh shit, well, that's right. Oh, he also does this. And then you hit them next time with something completely different.
That's what I want to do. Like the hour I've just put out, I love doing it. I worked with Alfie again, who like helped me with Juicy, like directed it. He was at like he was also opening for me. So he was at a lot of the tour shows being like, hey, you've done this a little different to last night. Last night was better and stuff like that. He's really good for that. And we shot this most recent one in my like bucket list venue. I know like your bucket list venue was MSG, and that's why I flew out for that with Carl. It was so good that just to be there for that.
Thank you, man.
But the first venue I ever seen comedy in was the Liverpool Empire Theatre. It's a British comic called Ross Noble.
Oh yeah.
And I was 16. I just like sort of found out like live comedy was a real thing. It wasn't just like something that was on the TV every now and then.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And that was sort of the start of like, oh, I can do this. And I remember like when I started, I was like, by the time I'm 30, I want to headline that room.
Yeah.
By the time I did it, I was 32. But the 2 years for COVID, I'm taking that off. And we did two, like, fucking, you know, incredible like hometown support back home.
Yeah.
So we did 2 shows in one night in the Empire Theatre. So that was nearly 5,000 tickets. And then later in the tour, we did the arena. And I've got the footage from that where, you know, the jokes are a little different and like we can release some clips from that eventually. But the special shot to just like the guy, like Will, who's like our camera guy at our podcast and like our production company, like he's filmed with me for years now. And he knows what I want from a special. Like a big thing for me is there's always movement in the shots. I never want a camera on a tripod that's like got no one doing this with it. Like if it's static, I want a slow zoom. If like, and he not only like just got what I wanted, the level to which he's filmed it, the shots, the backdrop, the haze is the perfect, like it's so good. The audiences were fucking incredible. And I'm so happy with how it came out. And I'm really happy with it as an hour to stand up, but just as a video, you can watch it with the sound off and I think you'd like it because he shot it so well. And I'm so proud of like, we did that with my team. Yeah. And that genuinely comes like genuinely from like what you guys do. Do you know what I mean? Like watching people like who just go, oh, I'm just going to make it myself. Yeah. And like, I shopped it round and we got a couple of bites and not the bites that I wanted. And I was like, it's going on YouTube. I want people to see it. Yeah. And the reason I came out to the States for these 2 weeks, I wanted to start again where no one really knows me. Yeah. And be going on in comedy clubs where they're like, who the fuck's it? And I've got to win them over again. Because like most comedy clubs in the UK, like I could probably get that a little bit, but they'll always be like 10% or whatever. And if I do it in Liverpool at my home club, at least half the room are like, oh, here's Adam. Yeah. So I just wanted to like being in New York and Austin and being like, I'm starting again with clubby stuff for now because we're about to go on like a podcast tour where I've got to do 20 minutes. Yeah. But in the back of my head, I'm sitting in cafes all day over here being like, what's this next like long story to give?
Then there's got to be something real. Like you can't make a story out of nothing. You know?
No, but like watching you do your show that I don't know how much you spoke about when your special's coming out and whatever, but
come out. I don't know if we've mentioned it, but basically next month it comes out on Netflix. Yeah,
but like I watched you do that twice, once in Manchester, once at MSG.
Yeah. Oh, you saw the new version in MSG. Yeah, because I didn't announce the thing yet. Yeah. But the baby,
there's the back half of that special is a story.
Yeah.
Like the front loaded, like you're being Schulz and what everyone knows, but there's like for people who haven't seen that tour live and are going to watch the special, there's a shift in that hour, isn't there? Yeah. From Infamous. Yeah, it's not the same. Yeah, it's not just another album. That
was the idea. I mean, the idea is I wanted to tell a story. And it was not something I'd never done before. I also want to be personal. Like I never thought my life was interesting enough to be personal. You know, and then it was really hard for us to, have a kid. And then I started talking about it on stage and then I started getting those reactions from people. And they were like, well, yeah, I'm kind of going through the same thing. And I was like, oh shit, it's not just me. And I started reading all these books about storytelling and like learning like what the structure was and the different arcs that you have to do and the 3 acts. And I was like, okay, maybe I can turn this into a story, but I don't want the audience to think that it's a one-man show. Yeah. Because I always felt like that was a little bit of it's like you're asking them to lower their expectations a little. You know what I mean? So I wanted to start as stand-up and then turn into this thing and see if I can kind of hold your attention. And then the weirdest thing would happen is like you get into the story and like you can just feel the energy. Yeah. Like they're like, where's this going? Wait, what's going to happen? Wait, no. And yeah, I can see why you're compelled to do it again. Because once you capture their attention in that way, it feels different